Hi everyone. So welcome to the live stream today. Very much excited for having you. We are continuing with our discussion in public sector accounting and finance. And yesterday we started with how you can study public sector accounting and finance, and most importantly, position yourself strategically in order for you to pass the examination. I shared with you the 4 critical reasons stated or cited by the examiner that causes students to fail the examination. And we also mentioned that at the end of the day, about between 20 to 30% of candidates are going to be passing the exams, all of the things being equal in the May 2021 examination. But I shared with you the 4 things that you have to make sure that you adhere to and you take into consideration if you are going to actually position yourself to pass the examination. So I see some of you guys joining the stream. Today we are streaming on YouTube as well as on Facebook, on my Facebook page at Nhyira Premium, because we want to see if we can reach larger platforms. So let me know, this is a new software that we are bringing up. So let me know if the stream is baffling or something, the quality of the stream, especially the video and the audio. Let me know how it is working in the comment box so that we can either stay with it or maybe change it to something else in that case. But hey, welcome to the live stream. And when you join the live stream, smash the like button on the video, because that way we will be able to reach as many students as possible. And remember to also share the video so we can reach as many students as possible studying and preparing for their examination. Now, I see some comments already coming in the chat on Facebook. On YouTube. So let me look at those comments real quick. Chukudi said, good day, Nhyira. Good day, Chukudi. I hope that you're doing well. Eurita Rusev said, hello, sir. Please dissect the budgeting process, its limitation and advantages, as well as performance measures. Okay, so Eurita, you are asking this in relation to which subject? Is it financial performance measurement? Performance management or management accounting? So which subject, Eurita? Let me know in the chat box if the subject you're talking about there. Jeremy Rouge said, good evening, sir. We are all set and ready to learn. Awesome there. God bless you. Amen. God bless you too. Leonard Montadi said, good evening, sir. When did you introduce this standard and how far have you gone? Which standard are you talking about? Are you talking about the public sector lectures? I think we started yesterday with a discussion and we'll be building on today in that case. So you can check out yesterday's lecture on the channel. Now, if you're watching on Facebook also, comment in the comment box any questions that you have for me, topics you would want us to cover as we head into our discussion for the day. So let me share my screen with you real quick and then let's begin the discussion. I guess there is a comment from Eurita said, all good, sir. Okay, that is great. So meaning that our video is okay and our sound too, it's perfect, both on YouTube, okay, because Eurita is on YouTube. So if you're on Facebook, you can also give us a feedback on how the stream is so that we know how to really serve you better. So I'm sharing my screen with you. Then we can go into the discussion real quick. Okay, so you can see my screen now. So yesterday we started with a discussion in relation to public sector accounting and finance. I made mention of the fact that to be able to understand how to pass the public sector accounting examination, we would have to go to the examiner, because the examiner has an idea of what exactly is going on and why students pass the exams and why students fail the exams. We concluded that, hey, the reason why students fail the exam is because of 4 things as per the chief examiner's report based on the ICAG May 2020 examination. We said, 1, that failure to read and understand the questions. So comprehension was a critical thing, critical reason why students fail the exams. And then failure to organize and communicate ideas clearly and professionally was also the second thing that we need to look out for, or the reason why students fail the examination. Then the third one was poor preparation towards the exams, and we made mention of the fact that this was the critical aspect or critical reason why many students fail the exam. But you realize that we emphasize on something that about 20 to 30% of the candidates who are going to be sitting, now this is an assumption, about 20 to 30% of the candidates who are going to be sitting for the May 2021 examination will actually pass the exams, meaning that there are some students who are going to be actually failing the exams because of some of these reasons. And then the fourth thing was lack of in-depth knowledge. And I made mention of the fact that the reason why this will be a cause is because of the fact that students don't prepare well for the examination. So if you want to prevent yourself and also save yourself from failing the exams, then you want to make sure that you pay attention to these four things because they are very, very critical in that case. Then we also shared some thoughts on the structure of the examination, and we said, depending on how excited the examiner is, the exams is going to be about 35% calculation or computation, then we're going to have about 65% written or comment segment in the question. And we made mention of the fact that these can span across various areas of the syllabus. So basically, that was what we discussed yesterday. The link to that is in the description of this video. You can check it out after that. If you are watching on Facebook, you need to jump on YouTube to be able to get it in that case. So comment in the chat box any questions you have for me. I'm reading all of your comments, both on Facebook as well as on YouTube, and also we'll be replying to all of them. If you join us on the live stream, smash the like button on the video. It helps us a lot to promote the video organically so we can reach as many students as possible. Then I mentioned also the outline of the public sector examination, or how I am going to be teaching this subject. Definitely not on the live stream in total, because I made mention of the fact that in order for you to really get the best and really enable you to pass the exams, enrolling in our full course is the way to go, because at 390 Ghana cedis per paper, you can enroll in the full course on our website, NhyiraPremium.com. You can see the link pinned to the comments and pinned to the description of the video on YouTube as well as on Facebook. You can click on it, enroll, and get access to the full course. Then you'll be able to study under my mentorship. Now, so today what we want to look at is introduction to public sector accounting and finance. Introduction to public sector accounting and finance. Introduction. Now, in this discussion, among other things, I will try as much as possible to answer a couple of questions and take you through a number of things. We want to discuss, among other things, what public sector is, and then what public sector accounting is and its objectives. That's the first thing we're going to be sharing some thoughts on. Two, we will look at the types of public sector organizations that are available in the country or in Ghana. And then three, we will look at how government controls public sector organizations. And then four, we will look at the differences between public sector organizations and private sector organizations. Then we will conclude on the users of public sector information. So these are the 5 key issues that we want to spend some time on and try to answer in the next few minutes on introduction to public sector accounting and finance. Now, this lecture is very, very critical because it's going to set the tone up for you on how you can prepare well for the public sector examination and to also position yourself to pass the exams and to position yourself to pass the exams. So let's go into it. Let's pick some key definitions real quick. So when we say public sector accounting, what is it? So we want to pick the first objective in there. What is public sector accounting and its objective? When we say public sector accounting, what do we mean and what is its objective? To be able to understand public sector accounting, we would have to look at a couple of ideas and take a couple of definitions. So we can define public sector accounting by breaking down the whole thing. So the first thing is that we need to ask ourselves, what is the public sector? So when we say public sector, what is the public sector? Then public sector is not run by individuals or the citizens, but the public sector is run by the government. So when we say government, what do we also mean? So we will define the public sector, then we will also define government. You ready about that? Let's go. So one-liner definitions in here, and then we begin the journey really quick. So the public sector can be defined as all organizations which are not privately owned and operated, but which are established, run, and financed by government on behalf of the public. All organizations which are not privately owned and operated, but which are established, run, and financed by government on behalf of the public. On behalf of the public. So all organizations, all institutions which are not privately owned, but are run, are established, run, and financed by the public fund will be referred to as what? The public sector. So all covered entities will form under the public sector. As far as the activities of the entity is finance, okay, either in part or in whole, from the consolidated fund or from public fund or from taxpayers' money, then we can say that that is a public sector organization. Now, we will look at the various types of public sector organizations in a moment, but off the bat, we can talk about the ministries, departments, agencies, the metropolitan municipal district assemblies. Okay, so the ministries, department, and agencies, then the metropolitan municipal district assemblies. So that is just the basic thing we're going to be looking at, but then later on we will talk about the various types of public sector organization. But what we are saying in a nutshell is that all the organizations, all the institutions that are established, that are run, that are not owned by the private sector and are financed by the government on behalf of the public or on behalf of the citizen will be referred to as what? The public sector. The public sector. So when we say government, what then do we mean by government? When we say government, what do we mean? So one-liner definition for government. Government refers to the collection of public institutions established and given authority to run the affairs of the country. Okay, so when we say the government of Ghana, we are talking about what? The collection of the institutions established and given the authority to run the affairs of a country. So the government of Ghana is not just the president. The government of Ghana is not just parliament. The government of Ghana is not just the Ministry of Finance. The government of Ghana is not just the Economic Management Committee. All institutions that are established and given the authority to run the affairs of the country will be referred to as government. Sounds good? I hope it makes sense. Next one, government accounting. Government accounting. Now, when we talk about government accounting, now please note that this slide I'm sharing in this video is from my Public Sector Accounting and Finance book. And if you enroll in the full course on our website, you get the e-version of this book for free, in addition to the lecture videos and all of the question kits and everything that you're going to be getting. So this material here is from my Public Sector Accounting and Finance book that you can get the e-version when you enroll in the full course. So let's go. Government accounting. Government accounting can be defined as all the financial documents and records of public institutions that relates to the collection of taxpayers' money and the analysis, control of expenditure, administration of trust fund, management of government stores, and all financial responsibilities and duties of the relevant government. Now, that is a huge thing there because you see, it has a lot of things in it that we need to really dissect and look out for. But then when we talk about government accounting, what we are saying here is that it refers to all the financial documents and records, which relates to how money is generated, sources of revenue to the government, the breakdown of those revenue analysis. Number 3, control of expenditure, so that we will be able to, so government accounting, let's try to break down the definition. Government accounting, among other things, relates to, number 1, how revenue is being collected. So, sources of revenue to the government has to be recorded. Collection of revenue. Not only that, the analysis of the revenue. Now, one of the key topics yesterday I mentioned to you that you need to pay attention to if you are going to pass the public sector accounting and finance exams is revenue management and expenditure control. Revenue management and expenditure control. Because you will be able to know the various sources of revenue to the government through the analysis. So we will know that, okay, the total revenue coming to government, this percentage is coming from direct taxes. This percentage is coming from indirect taxes. This percentage is coming from non-tax revenue. This percentage is coming from grants. So when we talk about government accounting, we are talking about the financial documentation and recording of institutions relating to the collection of revenue, sources of revenue to the government, the analysis of those revenue, what are the breakdown of the various revenue components to the government. Then the third thing we see there is control of what? Expenditure. Control of expenditure. Because you got to understand that when government collects the money, it's going to spend the money. But the fact that government is spending the money does not mean it needs to just spend it anyhow. So there has to be internal controls that will have to be put in place on how we control expenditure so that we be able to achieve value for money. Because at the end of the day, the objective of the government on each expenditure, when government undertakes its projects or whatever project, is to achieve what? Value for money. So through government accounting, we are able to what? Keep the records there so that at the end of the day, we will be able to identify whether we spent more than we are supposed to spend or less than we are supposed to spend, and achieving the needed objective and goal at the end of the day. Then administration of trust funds, that is also part, because government is going to be having trust fund. All right, when you are preparing the final account of government, it's one of the things that is going to be there. Now, trust fund are simply funds that are bequests to the government to take care of and to be used for a certain purpose. So literally, trust funds are liabilities to the government. So government is holding those funds in trust, either for the owners or the beneficiaries of the fund due to their station in life or their position. Not only that, accounting for government stores, very, very critical. This is where the topic of public procurement is going to be coming to town. How we account for government stores, how we procure the goods, what are the various internal controls we put in place, what are the expenditure we're going to be incurring. So that is also going to be coming in, and all financial responsibilities and duties of the relevant organs. So what are we saying? Government accounting includes or has to do with all the financial documents and records of public institutions relating to revenue collection, analysis of revenue, control of the expenditure, administration of trust fund, management of government stores, as well as all the other financial responsibilities of the government. That is what we mean by government accounting. Now, that definition is the detailed definition, the succinct definition, because that definition really gives us an understanding of what government accounting is about, and by extension, public sector accounting is about, by extension. But there is another definition that we can also give when it comes to government accounting. There is another definition that we can also give when it comes to public sector accounting. So let's look at that definition as well. That's the second one you see on your screen there. Government accounting includes the process of recording, analyzing, classifying, summarizing, communicating, and interpreting financial information about government in aggregate and in details, recording all transactions involving the receipt, transfer, and disposition of public funds and property. So that is also another definition that we can give relating to what? Government accounting, relating to government accounting. So that is the idea about that. That is the idea about that. Now, the next question we ask ourselves, any questions? I see some of you guys joining. You are welcome to the stream. We are looking at the introduction to public sector accounting and finance, focusing on, among other things, 5 things. What is public sector accounting and finance? What are the objectives of public sector accounting? What are the types of public sector organization? How does government control public sector organization? And who are the users of public sector organization? When you join the live stream, smash the like button on the video. It helps us a lot to reach as many students as possible. And also share the video or share the stream so we can reach many students who are writing this paper. And remember, we have over 500 videos already on our YouTube channel. So you make sure that you check them out. Check out the playlist. You will get a lot of content that will assist you in order for you to prepare well for your examination. So let's look at the objectives of government accounting. Objective of government accounting. So why should government be bothered about keeping of records of the revenue, keeping of records of the expenditure, accounting for how stores are bought, accounting for how trusts are received or used or utilized? Why should we do that? So the objective of government accounting, the objective of government accounting. So the following are some of the objectives of government accounting that we can talk about. Number 1 is to fulfill legal requirements. To fulfill legal requirements. Now, it is required by law, 1992 Constitution, that at the end of every financial year, the government has to prepare the annual report. Or the government has to prepare its financial statements. Now, this financial statement is to be prepared by the Controller Accountant General. And once the Controller Accountant General prepares the financial statement, it has to be submitted to the various institutions. Parliament will receive it, okay? Auditor General may have a copy depending on how, wherever the transaction is structured. The executive arm of government definitely will have it to go through as an institution. The Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning will also have it in that case. So it is required by law that financial statements be prepared or annual reports be issued on government activity for the year under consideration. Now, after this annual report is issued, then the Auditor General is going to be appointed by the President with approval from Parliament to now audit those financial statements so that we identify whether we achieve value for money, whether we were able to spend the money in line with the laws, the regulations. So to fulfill this requirement, government has to keep records. To fulfill this requirement, government has to keep this record. B, to perform the stewardship function. To perform the stewardship function. To perform the stewardship function. Now, when you remember we defined government as the public sector as all institutions that are established and authorized to run the affairs of a country. And we said these institutions are financed by public funds, you and I, our money. So the parliamentarians, the ministers, the president, they are there representing the people. So we want to find out at the end of the day how they are able to utilize the resources, the tax that they are collecting. How do they use it? The money that they spend on various projects. How are they spending the money? Are they achieving value for money or not? So we want to assess how they are doing the work. So to be able to fulfill that stewardship, that accountability role or function, government has to what? Keep records and all of those things there. So that is the second thing, to perform the stewardship function. The government, the ruling government, is the steward of the resources and finances of the nation. Governments must give accounts of how these finances are used. So all the money that was generated, that were generated during the year, where the heck are the records? How the heck did you spend them? Bring it up. We want to know. We want to see. Three, to enable government to plan well the future activities and programs of the nation. Like I said, the annual report, definitely the executive arm of government is going to get a copy of the annual report. So now, if we are planning, and there are other institutions that get the annual reports. The National Planning Commission will also get the annual report as well in that case. So what we're saying here is that when government receives the annual report, it's able to now assess, like for instance, in Ghana, when the annual report is received, government is able to know, okay, free SHS, this is how much we spent during the year, this was the impact. Okay, NAPCO, this is how much we spent during the year, this is the impact. Okay, planting for food and job, this is how much we spend, this is the impact on aid. Okay, and other government projects. So once government determines and understands how these projects are faring, how much was spent on these projects and the benefits that are coming in, then it helps the government in the preparation of the budget for the next year to plan the future of the country. That is the idea about this. So to help government to be able to actually account for these properly, that is why government accounting is there. Four, to provide a process of controlling the use of the financial and other resources. That is it. Because how do we know if we are spending more or not spending more? All right, how do we know that? How do we know whether we are within the budget or outside the budget? The only way to know that is to compare the actual records of the actual expenditure with the budgeted records, with the budget or the appropriation for that particular spending unit. So to do that and be able to put in control measures, we need to keep accounts of the government activities through government accounting. Then number 5, to provide how actual performance may be compared with the targets. Because remember, one of the things that government will be doing, and as a matter of fact, this is actually part of the financial statement the examiner can ask you, is to prepare the statement of budgeted performance. Statement of budget performance. There is another name for it. I'm hoping that I'll be able to remember, then I'll give it to you as well. Now, this is one of the statements the examiner could ask you to prepare in the exam hall for maybe 10 marks, all right, depending on how excited the examiner is about this examination. Now, the statement of budget performance is simply where we bring in the whatever items, okay, and we're going to have the revenue pulling up here. Then we're going to have the actual results here. We're going to have the budgets coming in. And then we'll have the variance here. Since we are in Ghana, let me try to write Ghana cedis in million. Okay? Now, why is this statement important and critical? This statement is important and critical because of the fact that it helps government at a glance to be able to what? Know exactly what is going on in that case. What is going on in that case? Usually there is another column that is built into it. So we can have the actual here. Let me restructure this for you. So the revenue could be here. Then we can have the actual here. Then we will have I think the approve. Let me take this up a little bit. We have the actual here as against the approved estimate. As against the approved estimate. So actually 4 columns. Now, our focus is to compare the approved with the actual results. Like I said, there is another name for this, but I'll be showing. I'm hoping that I'll be able to remember and tell you later on. So we're going to be comparing this to now. The difference between the budget and the approved is that you will look at this later on. Under budgeting and budgetary control, there is always what is called the mid-year budget review. So when the original budget is sent to Parliament and approved for the year coming in, say, November, what happens is that during the year, that budget is subject to a review, especially in the mid-year budget review. By 31st of July of the year, the Minister of Finance is required to present a mid-year budget review to the government. So at the mid-year budget review, the Minister of Finance, on behalf of the President and the executive arm, may request that, okay, maybe some funding are inadequate, or some expenditure item must be cut, or some expenditure item should be what? Increased. So during that review, what happens is that there will be a supplementary budget that has to be brought to Parliament, so that at the end of the day, that becomes what the approved estimate. So the budget will be the original, and then throughout the year, the mid-year review will be able to also look at that as well. But like I said, you will note this later on as we build our knowledge under this. But you're going to bring in the items here, all the revenue, all the expenditure, then you get your variance, then you now be able to advise the government on what exactly has to be done. So what are we saying here? Government accounting provide how actual performance may be compared with a target. So that, for instance, if the government objective, let's say we are dealing with expenditure item, one of the key expenditure item is personnel emolument. Maybe the actual cost, the actual expenditure paid by the government was, let's say, we're working in million, so let's say 10,000 in here, okay? So that would be whatever, 10 trillion or whatever that one is. That's too insane. Let's just say we are working in thousand just to make it simple for us. So the actual is 10,000, but per the budget, per the approved estimate, we're supposed to pay 8,500, meaning that there is going to be an adverse variance of 1,500 in here. Why could that variance be possible? Now, it could mean that during the year, the labor union requested for increment in salary, or maybe during the year, the government increased the number of employees on its payroll, or whatever. There was a special event undertaken that government needed more hands and has to employ more people. So this statement, now, how do you get the actual? This is where our focus is. How do you get the actual? You get the actual from the records kept by the spending units or by the government. And how do we keep those records? We get those records through government accounting. Then number 6, to evaluate the economy, efficiency, and effectiveness with which governance is carried out. This is what I told you in the beginning, because at the end of the day, we want to achieve value for money. At the end of the day, we want to achieve value for money. Now, there are 3 components of value for money, as you saw a moment ago. It's economy, efficiency, and effectiveness. Economy, efficiency, and effectiveness. Now, economy simply means that obtaining resources at the least cost. Okay? Now, here doesn't mean you do Miensan 2,000. That is go and buy substandard raw materials at the least cost. No. That is why when it comes to a certain supplies, it is required as per the Public Procurement Act that we use competitive tendering. That way, government is able to get access to a pool of suppliers, and government can choose the best supplier at a competitive price. That is the idea about economy. So for instance, if we need to construct a road, And the same road, the same specification, contractor A is charging us $10 million. And contractor B, same thing, same scenario, is charging us $8.5 million. Then it is reasonable for the company, for the country to go for where? The $8.5 million. Because if you have given them the requirements, they all have the expertise, they all have the experience, and one is taking 8.5 million and the other is taking 10 million, and you go and give the contract to the one at 10 million, that means we are not achieving value for money. So one of the key reasons or objective of government accounting is to be able to assess and evaluate value for money. Now, allegedly, should this happen in practice, what it could mean is that the reason why this 10 million order will be given ahead of the $8.5 million will be because somebody is going to chop some points at the back. Are you getting it? Which is going to result into corruption. So in order to prevent some of these things, let's value everybody. Let's find out. So this is where, should this transaction like this happens, Public Accounts Committee later on in their review will invite the principal account holder and the principal spending officer of that particular covered entity, and they will ask them, if the same contractors are there, why did you give the contract to these people? And if they are found culpable or involved in any corruption, then the law will take its course on them in that case. So that is the idea about economy, that if everything being equal, we try as much as possible to obtain resources at the least cost, not compromising with quality. Efficiency simply means that you are obtaining the best possible results, okay, from the usage of limited resources. You are obtaining the best possible results. That is it. So like I told you earlier, whatever expenditure that we are incurring, are we obtaining the best possible results? So why free SHS? Why NAPCO? Why planting for food and job? So if you are spending whatever money on these policies, we need to make sure that we are obtaining what? The best possible results. Then finally is effectiveness. Effectiveness simply means utilizing resources to achieve the intended objective. To achieve the intended objectives. That is very, very critical. Using the resources to achieve the intended objectives. So how can we know this? How can we do this? How can we understand this? We can only know this, we can only do this through government accounting. Any questions so far? So we've defined what is government, and we've just looked at the objectives of government accounting. Any questions? I see some of you guys joining on the live stream, both on YouTube as well as on Facebook. You are welcome to the live stream. If you are getting some values, smash the like button on the video. It helps us a lot to grow the channel so that we can reach as many students as possible. Also consider to share the video with your friends, your colleagues, and the people or anyone who you think will be interested in a lecture like this and other lecture videos on our platform. Let them come in, let them watch. And put in the chat box for me any questions you have. If you are watching on Facebook, put your comments in the comment box. I'm reading all of your comments here. And if you are watching on YouTube also, put your questions in the comment box and let me read them as we continue with our discussion. Now, Leonard said video and sound is good. All right. Then Samuel Edwin Nelson said, good evening. Good evening, Samuel. I hope you're doing well. Richard Opoku Ajeman is giving us a thumbs up in the chat. Thank you very much. You can also give a thumbs up on the main video page as well. Now, the big question we then ask ourselves is, okay, how are public sector organizations control? Or before even we go there, let's look at the reasons why public sector organizations exist. Why should we establish public sector organizations? Why don't we just give everything to the private sector so that we tax them at the end of the day and we go away, so that We will reduce corruption even by doing that. But why would we do that? Why? What are the reasons why public sector organizations exist? So let's look at that real quick. Reasons why public sector organizations or entities exist. So we want to look at some of the reasons why public sector organizations exist. Why do they exist at the end of the day? Why do they exist at the end of the day? So let's go through some of the points I have here in my slide as I explain the concepts to you in that case. So number one, to provide public goods and services to individuals and institutional consumers, regardless of their ability to pay. Very, very critical. Very, very critical. So one of the key reasons why governments exist or public sector organizations exist is to provide public goods and services to individuals regardless of their ability to pay. All right? So yes, you qualify for it, but because you're broke, you cannot get it. Okay, so how do we make sure that we give them the service? Through public sector organizations. So look at, for instance, government policies like the free SHS policy, so that people are able to go to school irrespective of their ability to what? Pay. All right? Because there are a lot of people who would have been in the house, whose parents wouldn't have been able to take them to school and all of those things there. But through the free SHS program, they are now in school, or they have not been in school. Now, the quality is another thing, but what we are saying here is that the provision is there. People will be able to have access to that. Number two, to provide goods and services whose investment capital is quite high and hence cannot be provided by the private sector, or whose returns are low and therefore unattractive to the private sector, though necessary. There are a lot of goods, public goods and services whose investment will be huge. But if you look at the returns, it's not too exciting to the private sector, because remember, the objective of private sector organizations, you know there already, is to maximize the wealth of the shareholders. So at the end of the day, if we put 1 Ghana cedis in, we need to be able to get about 50 pesos out of it, or maybe 60 pesos out of it. We want to maximize the wealth of the shareholders. Hence, if there is any project which requires a huge capital, but the return is not too exciting, the private sector may stay away from it. So here, it's the government that steps in to be able to provide such public goods and services to the individuals and citizens. Now, these could span from infrastructure facilities. It could be issues in relation to social amenities that a community needs, roads, hospitals, schools. All of these things could fall under this category here. Electricity could also fall under this category here. One of the ways that the government is able to really still invite the private sector to undertake large or huge investment projects is through the public-private partnership arrangement. And if you remember, I've told you already that public-private partnership arrangement is one of the key topics that you're going to be looking at later on. So that is a channel that government is able to still bring the private sector on so that they can undertake these huge projects, which by themselves may not have had more returns on them. Hence, the private sector will not be interested in. But because government is involved, the private sector will be coming in. 3, to achieve a net social benefit rather than net profit, to enhance equity of access to meeting the needs of water, electricity, food, shelter, transport, health, and communication. So we want to bridge the inequality gap, okay? Because some people are rich, they have access to water, good drinking water. They have access to electricity. They eat good food. They have shelter. They have good roads, good health, all right? Good communication system because they can pay it. Okay, how about the other people who cannot achieve that? How about the other people who cannot obtain that? So government organizations exist so that they can provide some of these things to the people. And this syncs with the fourth point, to correct inequalities which exist among various social classes. Like I tell my students all the time, even though this is a point that actually it's theory, in practice it's a lie, because you can never bridge the gap of inequality in the social class. You can never bridge the gap. Okay, you want to tax the rich and use the money to look after the poor. You cannot tax the rich, all right? Because unlike the poor, the rich don't work for their money. So they can structure their investments in such a way that they will actually pay close to zero tax at the end of the day. So really, governments can do a couple of things, but bridging of the social gap or bridging or correcting inequality, that has been there since time immemorial, and it will definitely be there after we are far gone. But that is one of the issues. Theoretically, we can state that yes, public sector organizations exist in order to correct some inequalities. Then number five, to correct future social, political, economic, or financial environment for optimal growth of the economy. That is very, very critical. Because you see, at the end of the day, it's not just about today. At the end of the day, it's not just about what we produce today, the benefits we have today, but it's also what? For tomorrow. So government organizations exist so that they will be able to provide that optimal economic growth of the economy. That is the brain, one of the brains behind the free SHS policy, because it is the belief of the government that, okay, when people are educated and they are well skilled, it means they'll be able to get better jobs to do, and government will be able to tax those income. And once government is able to tax those income, government is going to generate a lot of money to develop other aspects of the economy, so that at the end of the day, people will not be marginalized, and the standard of living of the country will be high, and we will achieve a certain level of development across the economy. So organizations have to exist to do that. So government achieves this through various policies run through by various organizations, like the one district, one factory policy run through the Ministry of Trade and Industry, the free SHS policy run through the Ghana Education Service, and also the Office of the President Special Initiative at the Office of the Presidency, and the various institutions that do a lot of these things. So these are some of the reasons why public sector organizations exist: to provide public goods to various individuals, irrespective of their ability or inability to pay, to provide public goods which require higher investment, hence would discourage the private sector to enter or to come in, to achieve a net social benefits, all right, to enhance equity of access to meeting basic necessities or basic needs, to correct inequalities in the various social classes. Like I said, this is not really true at the end of the day. And then number five, to influence future social, political, economic, or financial environment for optimal growth of the economy. So that is what we can talk about when we explain, or when we say reasons why public sector organizations exist. Reasons why public sector organizations exist. Any questions, please? I see some of you guys joining. Any questions? If you have any questions, put it in the chat box. For me, I'm going to be replying to all of your comments. So put in the chat box, let me know, and give us a thumbs up on the video when you join. It helps us a lot to promote the channel. And on Facebook also, I see some of you guys joining. Welcome to the live stream. Smash the like button of the video, and then let's share the video also, and let's reach as many students as possible. Richard Opoku with a thumbs up. Okay, there. Kojo Hubert said, excellent class. Thank you, Hubert. Augustine A. Watson, you are welcome to the stream, said, hi guys. Hello, Augustine. How are you doing? I hope that you are chilling and enjoying yourself. So these are the reasons why public sector organizations exist. These are some of the reasons why public sector organizations exist. Now, the next slide that we want to talk about will be types of public sector organizations. Types of public sector organizations. Now, like I told you earlier, there are various types of public sector organizations that we need to know about. There are various types of public sector organizations that we need to know about. Various types, various types, various types. Now, when we talk about public sector organizations, we can categorize them into four broad groups, okay, into four broad groups. We have what we call the central government, then we have what we call the local government, then we have what we call the statutory bodies, and we have what we call the state enterprises. So the central government, the local government, the statutory bodies, state enterprises. These are the four categories of public sector organizations. So let's dive a bit deeper into them and then talk about them real quick. So the first one is the central government. Definitely, you should know about this. Now, the central government consists of a governing body which is defined, a governing body with a defined territorial authority. So the central government, includes the executive arm of government, the legislature, the ministries, department, the agencies, the judiciary, and the constitutional bodies like the Electoral Commission, the Controller Accountant General Department, the Auditor General, as well as the Ministry of Finance. These together forms what is called the central government. These together forms what is called the central government. The central government. Now, to enhance public accountability and also to ensure that the country grows as fast as possible, meeting the needs of people at their various location or level, the second category is the local governments. This is as a result of decentralization of governance in the country. So the local government is made up of the metropolitan, the municipal, and the district assembly. So the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly, then all the municipals, all the district assembly coming together forms the local government. Note that the administration of the local government is usually based or is in accordance with the Local Government Act. And we will get into this later on if it is possible there. Then 3 is the statutory bodies. Statutory bodies. So we have the central government, the local governments, and then the statutory bodies. Now, these are non-constitutional bodies which are set up by Act of Parliament to enact legislation on behalf of the government in specific areas of the country or the economy. So statutory bodies. Statutory bodies. So here we are talking about health institutions, public corporations like the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation, the Ghana News Agency, and regulatory authorities. So these are bodies that are set up by an act of parliament, and they are there to do something or carry out the affairs of government in specific areas of the economy. So health institutions are there. When it comes to government's communication with the public, the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation is there. That is why anytime the president wants to address the nation or give any update, you realize that all the media houses will pick it from GBC, Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, right? Because they are the official communication channel for the government. Then when it comes to issues about petroleum, how the deal is going to be signed with contractors and all of those things, it's by the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation and all of those things in there. So that is the third category, and that is the statutory bodies. Then you come to the fourth category, that is state enterprises. State enterprises. Now, these are businesses where the government or the state has significant control through full majority or significant minority ownership. So state enterprises, these are the organizations, institutions that government has control over or has ownership in. Example will include Volta River Authority, VRA, the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, which PDS, they wanted to make it under another deal, but was not successful, so it has to be turned back. The Ghana Water Company Limited, the Tema Oil Refinery, then the Ghana Great Company Limited. All these are some examples of state enterprises. What are we talking about? We are saying that when it comes to dealing with the issue about categorization of the public sector institutions or organizations, we have the central government, the local government, the statutory bodies, and state enterprises. Any questions for me real quick? Any questions so far? Any questions so far? So I see some questions coming in. Let me know if you have any questions for me. I want to take some of the questions real quick. On YouTube, Luke and Chris said, I am also here. I will come early next time. All right, Luke and Chris, you're welcome to the stream. Smash the like button for us. Franklin Deck said, can we say the state enterprises are for making profit? Yes, to some extent, they are there to make some profit. Not that really they should make profit, but if they make profit, it's good for the country. If they make profit, it's good for the country. Abdul Fatah Isahaku. Sorry if I don't mention your name, or I think I'll stay with the Abdul Fatah on Facebook said, good evening, boss. Does the examiner expect you to use the IFRS to work the footnotes to the financial statement questions? Yes, he expects you to do that. As far as we are preparing the financial statements in line with the accrual basis, then you are going to be using the IFRS. So definitely, that is why if you remember what I mentioned yesterday, I said before you come to the financial statement, either for a local assembly or local government or the central government, or even for any spending unit, you must be solid on the IFRS. Very, very critical before you come in there. Augustine said, what's meaning of wholly or partially controlled enterprises? Yeah, wholly means like the government owns 100%. To wholly own a company means 100%. Partially owns means you don't have the 100%. There are other minority shareholders or minority interests. So meaning that is less than 100% ownership stake in that particular organization or company. Any other questions for me? Any other questions for me? So we've defined what public sector accounting is. We've spoken about the reasons why public sector organizations exist. We've discussed the issue in relation to the categories or the various types of public sector organizations. Now, if you are watching this lecture and you are like, whoa, I want to learn with you guys, or I want to get access to all of the lecture videos on public sector accounting and finance, and also join our weekly live Zoom sessions on Monday, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., and be able to study under my mentorship, then you can enroll in the full course at 390 Ghana cedis, and you can click the link in the description of the video or pin to the comment or the chat box there, nhyirapremium.com. You can enroll in the full course and be able to study directly under my mentorship. Now, if you are outside Ghana and you are studying anything apart from the ICAG, ICAG, public sector accounting, the content will be outside of your jurisdiction, because this is going to be public sector accounting based on the laws of Ghana or the acts of Ghana or the constitution of Ghana. So I want to make sure that is clear because we have students across the continent in various other locations as well. So that is it about that. And I'm going to be concluding around here today. I'm going to be concluding around here today because of time constraints. I'm going to be concluding here today. And God willing, next week at 4:30 p.m. Tomorrow is Friday. Did I say next week? Sorry. Tomorrow, I'll be coming your way at 4:30 p.m. GMT as we continue with a discussion on the introduction to public sector accounting and finance, meaning that tomorrow we will still be doing public sector. We want to see if we can continue with the rest of the discussion on the introduction and then set ourselves up from next week to touch on some other bigger issues or bigger subjects in there. Augustine said, these organizations, do they have some special features? Yes, they have some special features, they do. Because later on, you'll be looking at the roles of some of these organizations, like the Controller Accountant General, as part of the central government, what do they do? Or what does it do? The Auditor General, as part of the central government, what does it do? Parliament, what is their role in public financial management? The Minister of Finance and Economic Planning, what is their role? So yes, these institutions have various features that you need to look out for in that case. So thank you very much, you guys, for joining the live stream. It's always a pleasure coming your way on the live stream and providing with some assistance in order for you to prepare well for the examination. Like I say all the time, do not wait 2 weeks to the exams, 1 week to the exams, and start being serious. If you want to be serious, you've got to be serious today. You've got to be serious right now, because the minor ones that you're going to be coming together, that is what we'll be putting together in order for you to pass the exams and take your life to the next level. Augustine on YouTube said, I'm going to call you tomorrow. Okay. Eureka Ruse said, do you have a video on government budgeting? Yes, it is part of our full online course. You can visit our website, NhyiraPremium.com, and look at the course outline on public sector. Government budgeting is a serious aspect in the ICA exams. So when you check the course outline, you will get the breakdown of the content of the course and the coverage of the course in that case. So yes, there is a content on government budgeting, but that is not available on the YouTube channel here. It is part of our paid program, and you'll be able to get access to that if you enroll in the paid program. And that is 390 Ghana cedis per paper, or $68 US if you are outside Ghana, based on the exchange rate at the time that you will be purchasing the course, based on the exchange rate at the time that you'll be purchasing the course. Right, so thank you very much, you guys. Abdul Fatau, thank you for joining us. Chukudi, Eureka, Jeremy Rouge, Leonard, Abiodan, Samuel Edwin, Richard Opoku, Kojo Hubert, Augustine, Chris, and all of you guys, thank you very much. And God willing, tomorrow I'll be coming your way at 4:30 p.m. as we continue with our discussion and see what we have to look out for. So see you tomorrow, and let's see what we will do. Okay, Eugene Ampoma said, I've been trying to buy your Kindle books. If you are trying to, I don't know the response or the feedback you are getting, but the Kindle book is, Amazon processes your payments using credit card. So if you have a problem with your credit card or you have a problem with your bank, then that will be your problem. So we cannot do anything about it. Amazon cannot do anything about it. So you have to check with your bank why your credit card is not being processed by Amazon. So you can call your bank and find out why your credit card is not being processed by Amazon in that case. All right. But if you enroll in our online course on public sector accounting and finance, or all our courses, you will get the PDF version of the books for free, because that is part of it's part of the package that you get when you enroll in the course online. So I don't know what, like I said, you can call your bank to solve that issue for you, because your credit card definitely will have a problem. That is why it is not being processed by Amazon. But That will be it in that case. So Eugene is saying why the Kindle book is not. Kindle is not a Ghanaian company or a local company. It's Amazon. It's Amazon company. Okay. Oh, okay, I'll be there. So it's an Amazon firm. So we don't have control. Yes, my book are sold globally on Amazon, but I'm not the one processing the payment. So there is no way you can buy the Kindle book locally. There's no way you can buy the Kindle book locally. If you are buying, it has to be bought from Amazon. All right. So Eugene and Pausa, you need to buy it from Amazon. Like I said, if you enroll in our full course at 390 Ghana cedis per paper, you will be able to get access to these ebooks as an additional thing there. As an additional thing there. So that is the idea about that, and that is what you need to understand. Mainmont said on Facebook, hello, sir. As it relates to exchange rate, will we put the US dollar amount or Ghana cedis? I don't understand the context of your question. If you say, will we put amount or Ghana cedis, I don't understand. Maybe you can clarify your question, then I can answer you better. You can clarify your question, then I can answer you better, because I don't understand the question. All right. So thank you very much, and I'll see you same time tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. Continue to stay with us. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed to the channel. My YouTube channel, for those of you who are watching on Facebook, subscribe to the YouTube channel every day from Monday to Friday at 4:30 p.m. I'll be coming your way on the live stream, teaching you on various subjects and also answering your questions for you. But if you want to really get access to the full course, learn under my mentorship, hold your hand and assist you in order for you to prepare well for the examination, then you can enroll in the full course on our website at NhyiraPremium.com at 390 Ghana cedis per paper across all levels, so I can hold your hand, assist you much better, and have me as your personalized lecturer, and let me hold your hands, help you, show you the way, and help you to be able to pass the exams. Thank you very much, and I'll see you same time tomorrow as we continue with our discussion. Bye-bye.